All right, here is the breaking news. Then I'm going to your phone calls. National Security Watch, 60 right-wing terror plots foiled. Now, notice this is all coming out right at one time. When Dick Cheney wanted to come out in 2004 and say, there will guaranteed be a nuke attack by the time of the election. You must vote for George Bush. This is the publication he used to put that propaganda out. Okay. So National Security Watch, 60 right-wing terror plots foiled in the 10 years since the 95 Oklahoma City bombing, killed 168 people. By the way, that was a federal bombing. We've proven that. Roughly 60 right-wing terrorist plots have been uncovered in the United States, according to an upcoming report by the Southern Poverty Law Center's Intelligence Project. In Oklahoma City, it was the Southern Poverty Law Center running the white supremacist compound. They didn't just infiltrate it, they ran the whole thing. And it turned out McVeigh was the government operative they set up. That's come out in declassified government documents. So a very nasty organization, to say the least. You know, they always catch firefighters setting fires. You know, it's that same thing. Or Department of Homeland Security groups that are, quote, anti-child molestation. It keeps turning out they're child molesters. Southern Poverty Law Center running the white supremacist operations. Kind of like we had the Bum Steer Award in Texas Monthly went to the FBI and back in the late 90s for creating fake Klan groups and trying to get them to carry out terror attacks. I mean, they don't just go out and find a Klan group and try to sting them. No, they try to get them to carry it out. The plots, all foiled by law enforcement, reportedly included violent plans by anti-government militia groups, racist skinhead organizations, and Ku Klux Klan members, and they even cite admitted staged events, by the way, to use various types of chemical bombs and other weapons. The plots demonstrate the Department of Homeland Security still needs to closely monitor right-wing groups, says Heidi Barrick. That was the lady that talked to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and said within hours, the cop shooter, the alleged cop shooter, he visited Infowars.com. And then it's in the newspaper that the guy loved me. And then later the newspaper and everybody have to write other articles saying, actually, he was attacking Alex because Alex doesn't get into race. Hundreds and hundreds of sites he visited, including CNN and Fox. They've now released that. But they're me. Why? Because I expose their game. That's why the Southern Poverty Law Center hates my guts. Hey, I'm sorry you founded a white supremacist organization that the police reported was planning to bomb OKC, and then we got the federal documents and had the lawyers on about that. I mean, look, I understand you're not too proud of what you're involved in, and it's kind of your business to claim you're fighting extremists, so, you know, needs to be a threat out there for you to exist. We understand. It's just, we understand you're very sick, and we understand that we know, that you know, that we know, that you're aware that we can bring you down. Because the kryptonite to bring down you, Mr. Bizarro, Southern Poverty Law Center, Bizarro's kryptonite is the fact that the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center and others have been caught over and over again running white supremacist groups and other groups as a pretext to violate the Bill of Rights Constitution, to point at the Nazis and others and then try to restrict the internet and freedom of speech and other things. It's come out in mainstream news, London Guardian and others, that all the major German white supremacist groups that are firebombing Turks and others, killing them, turned out were German intelligence. We understand how you operate. We understand how you operate. Don't worry. We're on to you. Just like German intelligence, Andreas Strassmeyer was your agent heading up Elohim City with McVeigh. German intelligence, and that's now come out. Oh, we're on to you, Mr. Dees. And so that's why your slander, trying to connect me to these people, isn't going to work. The plots demonstrate the Department of Homeland Security still needs to closely monitor right-wing groups, says Heidi Barrick with the Intelligence Project, which I have a copy of. They even have Lou Dobbs in here saying he's basically a white supremacist because he talks about the New World Order. When they announce they're setting up a world government, he'll talk about it. So you stick him in here next to Nazis. How many of these Nazi groups do you run, Southern Poverty Law Center? How many of these guys? Because I've been out to protest the Nazis in Austin, and I guarantee you these aren't Nazis. And then they just caught them, last year in Miami and other areas? It was in the major newspapers. It was in the Orlando's newspaper that the head of the white supremacist rally was FBI? I mean, my God, we're so tired of your Nazis. We're just really sick of you. Anyways, but see, that's a perfect way for you to hide, though, see, is the anti-Nazi group. Oh, you people are sick. He goes on, the DHS report listed radical leftist groups such as the Animal Liberation Front and Earth Liberation Front, which have both involved numerous arson cases, but nonviolent right-wing militia and skinhead groups. And it's talking about how it's such a big deal that the DHS report has come out. Okay, let's stop right there, and that brings me to my next point. And I want Kurt Nimmo and Paul Watson listening right now. I need a big report from both of you on this from different angles, whatever your perspective is. But remember, we put out the flyer in the late 90s that the FBI was putting out with the FBI's phone number saying, those that make frequent references, in fact, punch it up on screen, just type in constitutional terrorist, and it'll come up. And when we put that report out, then we got all these other internal state police reports, federal marshal reports that they sent us, where people that have organic gardens, people that protest animal testing, people that protest nuclear reactors, people that protest anything. It's turned out they're spying on bike riding groups that want more rights for people to have, bike lanes, and anti-death penalty groups are being listed as terrorists with no violence in their past. And Michael Moore in Fahrenheit 9/11 shows, a little peace group baking cookies, and they've got, the police spying on them. And it came out Army intelligence was spying on us back in November at the End the Fed protest, saying, watch out, the terrorists may attack you, don't let them know you're military. And then the military leaked this to us because they're upset about it. But the media doesn't want to hype that part. They hype only certain parts of the reports because they want to make this a left-right thing. They want to announce, all the Tea Party protesters are terrorists, and they're right-wingers. And then all the leftists go, oh, my God, well, I'm not with those right-wing Nazi terrorists. I must be for the bailout and the foreign banks taking over. See how they play those games? Now they've divided the public in half. And then remember that back under Bush, it was in Alabama, it was in Tennessee, libertarians and liberal groups, and you can Google those stories, libertarians listed in state police report, and you can pull those up where libertarians and liberals were being listed under Bush. But really what was happening, and I'm starting to think this is getting leaked on purpose in some cases, that I would actually get the full report, and it would have right-wing, left-wing, everybody in there. But when it was Bush, they would talk about, it's Bush doesn't like the left wing and says they're terrorists. And then now that Obama's in, they're putting out reports saying basically everybody's a terrorist. But the reports that get the attention, because there's a bunch of these reports, just in Missouri alone, there were dozens of them the feds wrote and put out. But now we have the national reports. They're talking about the right wing and the returning troops and gun owners. So then everybody can protest and demonstrate, and the Republicans can act like they're anti-establishment and get all the anti-establishment support and soak it up under their control because they're controlled opposition. See, they want you inside the Republican or Democratic parties because they control both of those. And then when a Republican gets in power, the reports will be put out about how the Democrats are terrorists, and the Democrats will all feel radical and cutting edge, and, the Democrats, I guess, are anti-establishment. Look, we're being listed. When meanwhile, I walked in this morning and had the idea to talk about this because I've been thinking about it the last few days, and I said, there's one of the original reports in 99 out of Phoenix, Arizona. Show them the back where it says, those that make references to the Constitution are terrorists, and then it lists right-wing and left-wing. It shows them all there. Yeah, zoom in on that. Common law, it says defenders of U.S. Constitution against federal government and UN super patriots, groups of individuals engaged in paramilitary training. They call that target shooting. It talks about black separatists, mixes that in with KKK. So they go after everybody here. Common law, movement participants, and it says refuse to identify themselves, make numerous references to the U.S. Constitution. And it's just like people at these illegal checkpoints go, well, you're stopping all the cars. You don't have Fourth Amendment probable cause. They'll just beat you up now. These videos come out every week now. See, because the cops have been taught, oh, my God, I got a cop killing terrorists right here. He's saying that, a checkpoint isn't American. Yeah, it's Nazi Germany. It's not freedom. Pull it back up because I want to show people. Then over there, they've got single issue. And they say, urban riot agitators. Those are usually cops. They just got caught in Denver last year, Denver Post. Cops attacking other cops and staged an event for the media to demonize the protesters. They've got that these groups are going to use nuclear, chemical, or biological weapons, that lone individuals are terrorists. They've got animal rights. They're terrorists. And it just goes on and on. And so they go after everybody here. That's what's really happening. So when we get back, we should have quick Google this morning. In minutes, they had this for me. All these other reports. And guess what? We got the PDF files code. This big report they're making a big deal out of that Obama just put out, it was originally written in 97. It just had the cops' killings in Pennsylvania added last week.